Hello and welcome back to Suicide Notes with Dr. Lulu. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. Welcome back. So today we're going to talk about Suicide 101. We're going to look at numbers, statistics. Yes, most things in the world, if you cannot measure it, you can't help. If you cannot measure it, you can't do something about it. So we need to look at the burden of suicide. Just how bad is it? And to help us today, we're going to read from my book, A Teen's Life, from chapter 3. Chapter 3 actually talks about the numbers of suicide worldwide, and we're going to probably touch on Nigeria as well. So thank you so much for listening to me. I'm going to read, and as I read, I might stop and discuss. So it may not just be full-fledged reading, but I think this is going to be educational. All right, let's go. So, did you know that according to the WHO, more than 800 people die globally by suicide each year? 800,000. Did I say 800? 800,000 people. So nearly 1 million people. That roughly translates to one suicide every 40 seconds. Here's the problem though. As of 2020, the same WHO predicted that by the year 2020, it will be one suicide every 20 seconds. Now, this book was actually written in 2018. It came out in 2019, but it was written in 2018. So the numbers were as of 2018, but as of today, 2021, the WHO's prediction is one suicide every 20 seconds. As a matter of fact, in July of 2020, the last time we looked at the numbers, it was one suicide every 26.9 seconds. Here's the situation with that. Most suicides are still not reported. Suicides are still mostly underreported. So even at one every 20 seconds, you can look at in 5 minutes while I'm speaking, how many deaths could that be? This is so not good. Okay, so suicide claims more lives than malaria, breast cancer, war, and homicide. Of course, we talk about homicide because I live in the US and that's where kind of most of the numbers came from. But regardless, malaria, breast cancer, war, homicide, and of course, the current pandemic is coronavirus. It probably suffices to say that suicide might be competing with coronavirus. Here's why I said that. In the US, since 1999, suicide rates in adults have increased by 30%. I want you to listen to the next thing I'm going to say closely. In the year 2020 alone, suicides in youth, in children, has gone up by 70%. 70. So now, in the US at least, suicide is only second to accidents as a leading cause of death in children aged 10 through 34. If numbers are anything, that number is crazy. Here's the reason why it's crazy. It is second only to accidents. So that tells you that many of those accidents might be suicides. We don't know for sure. Could it be? You know why I said that? Because in my podcast, which is called Suicide Pages, I interview only people who have either looked suicide in the eye, suicide attempts, suicidal behavior, whatever. Majority of them will tell you that they wanted to make their suicides look like accidents. I am one of those people. The day I wanted to kill myself, I was going down a highway. I was going at over 85 miles an hour. The rooftop of my convertible was down. I had no seatbelt on. I was trying to drive off the highway. I wanted it to look like an accident, and I did not want to survive that accident. So when I tell you that statistic of suicides being second only to accidents is questionable, you know why. But I digress. Let's keep going. However, since many suicides still go underreported, mostly due to stigma, it is highly likely that that number is underestimated. Exactly, that's exactly what I was saying. For instance, suicides in minorities, in developing countries, most conservative communities, indigenous and rural or remote parts of the world are mostly not reported. So I want you to take a minute to think about all the suicides you've heard about in Nigeria, all the high-profile suicides we've heard about recently. If you add all of them and multiply by 10, we still could be under reporting suicides. Just so you can have an idea of how serious the suicide problem is. So like I said, these shows are only 5 minutes long. So I'm going to take my leave at this point, and we're going to continue right where we stopped. Next week, we're going to look at numbers, suicide numbers, because honey, it is not good. Okay, so you can get your own copy of this book called A Teen's Life by calling Chris at 0803 786 6124. 0803 786 6124. If you have any questions for me, kindly send an email to suicide notes with Dr. Dr. Lulu, Lulu, at gmail.com. Again, my name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Malnutrition. I'll see you next week. Bye.